What up, Tim Elliot?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks
Good,
for
man.
having me.
Yeah, thanks for hanging. So we are in Winnipeg. This is Winnipeg. This will be the first hotel. I usually roll into town early and then just kind of hang out and chat, rather than like sitting around doing an interview. Just kind of shoot the shit.
Different.
So you're fighting Saturday night.
I am.
Do you even know this guy?
I don't. I had a bit of a Twitter beef with one of his friends, Randy Sadah, who was wanting to fight me. But that guy just took a loss, and then when Scoggins fell out, this guy stepped up, and I knew of him through his friend Randy. So, I know he has a great record. I know he's a good striker, good jiu-jitsu, but other than that, I don't know much about him.
And when you say you know about him through a guy you had a Twitter beef with, was the Twitter beef guy kind of a dick?
No, he was just calling me out. Well,
yeah.
he does that with everybody. He says that the 25-pound division in the UFC is weak. He just lost his last fight, though. So
right. So it's not that weak.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So that game, so fighting is what you do, right? But that game of yapping and people, doing stories about it on web pages and all that shit, that has become like actually a part of your job, is it?
Well, social media for sure is part of it. But, if you want to get recognized, sometimes you have to, talk a little bit of shit. And, I'm usually pretty good at keeping it lighthearted and fun. I don't take it too serious. The same way with fighting. I don't look at it like a job. This is something that I enjoy doing, and same with the Twitter stuff. I don't mind guys hating on me, and people say that I'm a bum and that I don't have a lot of skills, and like I typically agree with them. Like I know what they mean when they say that I suck. Like I get it. They don't have to keep going on and on about it. No, but it really doesn't bother me. I go out and I have a good time, and they give me money to do it. So yeah. I can care less.
Somebody had a newer guy sent me a message, and it's like, I got a fight on the weekend. Do you have any advice? It's like, first of all, I was a terrible fighter. But the best advice I see all the time is people remind you, and you remind yourself, you don't have to do this. You get to do this.
Exactly.
Right? Like, you could go do some other job if you felt like it. You do this thing because it's fun.
It's true. I enjoy it. I get to travel. I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I take my kid with me when I go do camps. We did 2 months in Vegas. She was with me every day, and it's a dream job. I get paid to do something that I like to do, and they pay me to travel around, and I get to have my kid with me full time. I don't have to hire a babysitter or a nanny. Man, I've been really blessed. I feel really lucky.
That's killer, man. When I ran into you guys outside, we were talking about James Krause's first fight, and you were with him, and you said you fought for a world title, but walking out of that tube in Winnipeg with him was still the biggest rush that you felt.
For sure. Like. Coming out into the crowd full of Canadians, just so loud. I've never seen anything like it. Still to this day, I fought several times. I've been to several fights. But man, the Canadians, they love fighting. And James was fighting a beloved Canadian here in Canada. So we were catching a lot of boos, but like after the fight was over, it was such a good fight. They loved James for it, and Sam lost, and that wasn't easy for him, but they didn't care. The fight was so good. They were happy that that he was there and put on a show.
And it was close. It was a really close fight. That was one of maybe the first 2 or 3 dozen breakdowns I did was breaking down the fight of those two guys.
Double bonus.
Yeah.
Sub of the night, fight of the night.
Yeah, that's right.
Second latest submission in UFC history, I think, maybe third.
Yeah, and maybe it was the latest at the time.
Yeah, maybe.
Even. Yeah, $100,000. Like, have you ever been bonused anything like that?
No, 50.
Did you get 50 against Demetrious?
No.
That's crazy.
No bonus against Demetrious.
What? Like nothing? Like not here's $5,000. Go.
No.
Really? What the fuck?
I don't know. He put a whooping on me.
I don't know, man. You still probably had the best performance against him of the last 5 years.
And that was the worst I've ever felt in a fight. Like physically, I was cramping in my stomach. I had a bad weight cut. After the Ultimate Fighter House, making weight 4 times in 4 weeks, it changed my body composition. I hit 162 pounds, and the weight just would not come off.
How tall are you?
5'7".
Like your face was all
swollen,
puffy, yeah.
gelatinous.
Yeah. Gelatinous is a good word.
My body is just now back to normal, and that was a year ago. Wow. So I'm just now back to normal and feeling good. But it is what it is. I got a chance to compete for a world title. I won the Ultimate Fighter, and got rehired into the UFC after being fired once. So I'm gonna make the most out of this time through.
So Demetrious is very confident, and he's confident because he is really fucking good, right?
Yeah, he's
like,
the best.
Yeah, like that's, and you know it, and he knows it. And for some of us, we'd find that you could feel yourself be a little intimidated or a little, but you seem to not be at all bothered by that. Were you?
It was the opposite for me. I was already, I was supposed to lose. Everybody already thought I was going to lose. I had zero pressure. I was 100% just to gain. So as long as I didn't go out there and shit the bed and get knocked out really fast, then I was going to be a success. Plus,
and you won round one, I think.
I made $100,000 flat, so it didn't really matter if I won or lost. So
that's why they didn't bonus you. That's decent money.
There was no downside in just going out there and putting it all on the line. And I won a couple of rounds, and I didn't have my best performance, but I gained a lot of fans from that fight. So it was a win-win for me.
Would you have ever thought, like, you're sitting around and you're kind of fighting and it's fun, and somebody would pay you $100,000 flat to go fight that guy?
No, I can't believe it.
That's cool.
I would do that every day.
That's fucking cool, man. Yeah, yeah. Well, you can't fight every day.
For $100,000, I could.
Yeah. There would come a point you can't walk to the cage.
Will me in.
Yeah. So, thanks for hanging out too. I know you got to run and do stuff, and we'll hang with James too. You and James been working together for a long time? Yeah,
6 years. So I moved to Kansas City 6 or 7 years ago to train at a different gym. Never even heard of James or the gym that he was working out at, and I didn't like the way things were going at the gym I was at. So I cross-trained one day with James, and then I never went back. I've been there ever since.
Yeah, it's a strange thing, eh? Like when pieces fit, they just fit.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, without those guys in Kansas City, I wouldn't have made it to the UFC. I don't think. Like, they kind of set the path for me, getting my fights, getting my Jens Pulver fight, getting my Josh Rave fight, taking a short notice fight against John Dodson, and having a good showing my first outing in the UFC. It's just, they kind of paved the way for me to have a little bit of success, and I feel very lucky to be able to be a part of their team.
One of my very favorite fighters coming up was Jens Pulver. How about you?
He was my top three for sure, even before I fought him, and even still now. And it was scary. I've never really been nervous in a fight, except for that fight. You go back and you look at highlight reels, and you'll maybe see one or two fights, but you watch Jens Pulver's highlight reel. I mean, he's knocking out the best guys in the world, and that's scary. And I was a little intimidated and worried whenever I stepped in the cage with him. But that kind of prepped me for getting in there with somebody like Demetrious Johnson.
Yeah, every one of those experiences is something you can draw on, and that feeling of, holy fuck, it's Jens Pulver. Yeah, that definitely would have helped.
It hit me like a brick wall for sure. I'd never had that feeling in a fight. I felt like my feet were tied together. I couldn't really move.
And there's like your hands feel like you can't make a fist proper and stuff.
It was rough, but again, I had good training, and Jens was he was toward the end of his career, fighting at 135 pounds, cutting a ton of weight. And, I feel like I owe a lot to that guy, too, because, without that fight with Jens Pulver, would I have ever made it to the UFC? Probably not. I had a shitty record, hadn't beat anybody good ever. So I feel like I owe Jens Pulver for taking that fight. And every time I see him, I thank him and let him know that I appreciate him.
For sure. Like, there's also, when you come up in a lighter weight class, never mind the fact that he gave you that fight that was a key, but there are no fights like that without Jens Pulver anyways. There might be no fucking fights for the Uriah Fabers and the guys in between that. That's right.
Anybody under 145 pounds, 155 pounds, yeah.
He fought fucking BJ. He fought at lightweight. A lot of these guys, too. Jeff Curran. I was talking to Jeff Curran in Detroit. Jeff Curran was fighting 55 and over. He's 5'5". Like, that's real.
That's all there was.
Yeah, that's what there was. Insanity. Even, Sean Shirk was fighting at welterweight. I mean, that dude's this tall. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But I'll let you go. But how do you make sure, when you've been like, fuck, it's Jens Pulver, oh shit, I'm fighting Demetrious Johnson, I feel good. How do you make sure you don't underestimate a guy when you don't know him and he's just coming in, it's Winnipeg, and how do you make sure that you get that optimum state of focus? And to somebody who doesn't know the difference, they might think this is a stupid question, but it's not. Nailing that.
it's easy for me. If you put yourself around people that have your best interests in mind, coaches, teammates, then you can kind of let loose of that. I don't think anything about this guy. I don't think anything about any of my opponents anymore. I let my coaches do the thinking, and I just try to keep my ears open and do what they say. And if I do what they say, then I win. So, I think the key is having guys in your corner that you really, really trust. And like, I have 100% faith and trust in my corner. If they said, hey, we need you to run out into traffic right now.
James, should he run out into traffic right now?
I wouldn't even ask. I wouldn't
cold.
even ask twice. I would just fucking do it, because I know they're not going to ask me to do anything that is going to hurt me. Everything that they're going to ask me to do during the fight, at the weigh-ins, I almost didn't make weight for Demetrious Johnson. I told James I was done. I quit. He said I was going to be out 20 grand for 20%. I told him I would give him 20 grand to leave me the fuck alone. And he didn't let me quit. He made me make the weight, and he knew I wasn't in a situation where I was really, really going to be sick or really, really going to be injured. And he let me know that I was never going to be able to live this down. And I wouldn't have been able to live with myself, I don't think. So I think having good guys in your corner and people that you trust, that's the key.
Yeah, man. Hey, good hanging with
Thanks,
you.
man. I
Good luck
appreciate
on the
it. Thanks
weekend.
for
I'm
your
going to
time.
chat with you again for TSN, my real job.
Yeah, anytime.
But it's fun hanging. Thank you.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you.